Hello everyone, this is Satyaprakash. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll show you how to perform CRUD operation in Angular with EdgeGrid using Web API with an example. So here the backend is SQL Server database. Here I am using Web API to provide data connectivity between the database and the front-end Angular application. So on the UI side, I'll use Bootstrap and EdgeGrid to create a rich, interactive, device-independent user experience for building a beautiful user interface application. So guys, here these you can see one screenshots which is the example of edge grid, and it has three buttons. So create a new user, update the existing user, and delete the existing user. And this is the index page which is implemented inside the edge grid. So how it looks like the example edge grid for the CRUD operation. So guys, here the discuss the points. So create a web API endpoint to perform CRUD operation, what is edge grid and features of edge grid, how to set up edge grid, and how to call web API in Angular to perform CRUD operation using edge grid. Check the web API endpoints using browser inspect element, and use the Toastr for display the alert message. So guys, before going to these videos, please visit my playlist. If you are new to ASP.NET Web API tutorial, please visit my this URL playlist, that is ASP.NET Web API tutorial, which will be beneficial for you if you are new, intermediate, experienced candidates. Same way, if you are new to Angular, you'll get go to my playlist Angular CLA tutorial. You can find out these videos how the Angular application will be set up, and what are the Angular application and its features. So here in Angular latest tutorial version, which contains all the real-time scenario videos on Angular using Web API and other features as well. So these are the three playlists. If you go through that for the if you are new to Angular or Web API or experienced candidates or intermediate candidates, so it will be helpful for your industrial projects as well as in real-time projects as well. So let's go to my presentation. So I have created one note which will be discuss the step-by-step process for this example for the edge grid. Step 1, I need to create a table called user details. So I'll go to my SQL server. So this is the table I have created, okay, and it has the columns, and this table has the data here. So I have total 272 rows of this table. Same way, I created one ADO.NET entity data model to map above table. Okay, so I'll go to my web API application. So here guys, this is under models folder. I have created the ADO.NET entity data model. So this is very simple. Right click on this model, okay, and if you click on add, and there is one ADO.NET entity data model, right? So while you create, it will ask which database object you want to map. So I have mapped to this table, user details table, and it has created. So this in this models folder, you can create n number of ADO.NET entity data model. So this model I am used satyamodel.edmx. If you expand that, there is one user details class is created, right? So there is a number of columns, same columns as a property reflecting there, right? So how to create ADO.NET entity data model? If you go through my ASP.NET Web API tutorial, you can get this how to create ADO.NET entity data model from scratch. So let's check the web.config for connection string. If you go to the web.config, so if you drag to bottom, you can see inside the connection strings, it will create the system by default for the connection string details, related details. So if you see here, SatyaDB entities, add name, and the Satya model is Satya model model, and this is the data source, right? It will be showing the server, either database, and the other security related set properties as a true, and the other related details. So this is the connection string is added by system while you create the ADO.NET entity data model by the entity framework. So let's step 4, we need to create the API endpoints to perform the CRUD operation. So if I go to the web API, okay, I'll show you that endpoints. So guys, there is 5 endpoints. One is get user details by ID, insert user details, update employee details, and delete user details. Okay, so I'll show you one the get user details. This is the code for it will get all the user details. Okay, it has the route is get user details, and the route prefix is API/user details grid CRUD. So it is common to all the methods. So second is get user by ID. It will filter the user based on the ID value. So this is the code. Okay, so I pass the parameter as ID, and based on ID it will be filter the records of user details. So insert user details for the post user, so it will be insert the new records. So these are the parameter user details data. So because when we create the new data, you should pass the all the properties of the user details. So if it is successfully inserted, it will get the a message. If it is not, it will be getting failed. And this is the update employee details, that is okay, and the user details parameter I have passed here, and there is one parameter here I passed user ID. Based on user ID, it will update the existing user details, right? If it successfully updated, it will display the message, else it is failed, and let return okay here. Same way for delete. For delete employee detail delete, I have passed the parameter as ID. Based on ID, it will be delete the records. So successfully deleted, it will display the message, otherwise it is failed. Okay, so each method has different endpoints, different route. Okay, so see here, and this route prefix is common to all the methods. So this is the code for web API endpoints. So if you drag from top to bottom to capture the code. So this is the code for API endpoints. So step 5, we need to install AgGrid and check the package.json. So this is the command npm install save AgGrid community AgGrid Angular @28.2.1. So if you don't want any specific version, you can remove this and you can directly execute this command. So go to my VS Code. So this is my Angular application. So click on 3 dot terminal, new terminal. So in this terminal, you can execute this command and it will be install the AgGrid. So I'll check the package.json. So here I can identify which version of AgGrid is there. So if you select the package.json, you can see there is AgGrid Angular and AgGrid community version here, right? So step 6, we need to open the style.css and add the themes. So here I'll open the styles and style.css. So see here guys, two lines we need to add for that theme, AgGrid theme. Step 7, we need to install Bootstrap and check in angular.json. This is the command ng install bootstrap save. Once you execute this command successfully, Bootstrap will be installed. So I'll check in angular.json. Before that, package.json we need to check here. See here guys, Bootstrap this is the version is installed here as a Bootstrap. So we need to check here angular.json, right? We need to add this Bootstrap path. So if you open that package angular.json, so under styles, right, there is one styles, one is script section. So inside the style section, I have added this path to the Bootstrap CSS, and inside the scripts, I have added the Bootstrap JS path here under the scripts, right? So same here. Okay, step 8, we need to install the Toastr. So we'll install Toastr for displaying the rich interactive UI messages. So this is the command. Okay, and if you don't want a specific version, you can skip that @ up to the, you can skip, you can just execute this up to this. Okay, I want this specific version, so that I mentioned here at the rate 13. So after then I need to okay, in the terminal we can execute this command, and after successfully executed, okay, I'll check the step 9. So open angular.json and add the toastr.css path. So guys, first I'll check the version, what the package version is installed. So if you click on package.json, this ngx toastr version is reflected here, right? Let's check for angular.json. So once successfully installed that Toastr, I need to add this path under the style section of angular.json, right? So step 9. So guys, once this package is installed, that is AGGrid, Bootstrap and Toastr, I can see inside the node underscore module folder, right? If you expand the node underscore module folder at the data angular, and I can see that AGGrid, right? I'll see here, show you that. See here guys, AGGrid hyphen angular and AGGrid hyphen community. Same way for Bootstrap, okay, and the ngx hyphen toastr. See here guys, ngx hyphen toastr package is available inside node underscore modules folder. So in this way we can check in node underscore modules folder. Step 10, we need to create the component. Okay, this is the command CRUD and CRUD / add user. So we need to use this command in the terminal, and once successfully executed, we can check here. If you expand the app folder, user CRUD, and see here user CRUD component, and if you expand the add user, there is add user component is successfully created here. Its component related files is available here. Step 11, we need to create a service, nggs azure CRUD serve. So this is the command, right? So after successfully executed, you can see in user CRUD serve.service.ts file is created. Step 12, we need to create a model class, ngg class user CRUD model. So there is user CRUD model file is created here. And step 13, add properties to the model, user CRUD model. So if you open that user CRUD model, you see here these are the properties, which is similar to my web API response here, right? Because when I created the SQL Server database tables, the user details, so these are the columns added. The same properties we need to add here, because when the Angular is sending request to the web API, these properties should be matched with the web API response. So same way we need to have created these properties inside the user CRUD model. So this is the code for user CRUD model. Step 14, we need to create a user registration page. Open add user.component.html and write the code. Okay, I'll open the add user component.html. So guys, this is the code for add user. So each field is used. So it is used when I create the new user. Okay, so these are the inputs fields for username, and this the validation is required, because when the end user click the submit button without any input, so that is showing username is required validation. Same way for email ID and gender and address, and this is mobile number, and last one is pin code. And there's two buttons, one is submit and one is cancel button. Okay, so cancel button calls to the cancel method. So I'll discuss this method in the next file. All right, so here ng submit form has a on submit. Okay, that is on click of on submit, it will be save the records of user details. So this is the code for add user.component.html. if you put drag from top to bottom to capture the code. Step 15, open add user.component.ts and import the necessary libraries. So I'll open the add user.component.ts file. Okay, and these are the import statements I have used. Okay, one is user CRUD service. This is the service to path. Okay, which I have created the service file, and the router and the toast service package. So these import statements I need to import it, and the component section has the default selector template URL and style URL each component has. And this is the export class, add user component, implement on interface, and this constructor has the import statements parameters. And the ng on init, it has the all the properties, text input fields at the validation is required, and on submit method is defined here, and it will call to the add user, which is defined inside the service file. Okay, and same way for cancel method, it will be navigate to the user details component. So this is the code for add-user.component.ts. Step 16, add-user.component.css and write the CSS code. So I'll go to the add-user.component.css. So this is the for designing part. Step 17, create user details page with edge grid. Now we will do functionality for binding the data using edge grid and perform update, delete, sorting and pagination. So I'll open the user.crud.component.html file and write the code for design the details page. So I'll open the user.crud.component.html. Okay, so this one. So guys, here I have three buttons. One is add new user, update user and delete user. So add new user calls to add method. So update calls to the edit user method, and delete button calls to the delete user. And this is for edge grid file. So this edge grid section, it will bind to the all the user details table. So this is used for binding the records to the edge grid. So there is grid ready, on grid ready event, and one is column def, and row data section we bind to the all users. And this grid options, it will be used for index part. Okay, so this is the code for user.component.html. Step 18, open the user.crud.component.ts and write the code to perform the operation. So open the user.crud.component.ts. So guys, this is the import statements we need to use. One is for user CRUD model file and edge grid, and one is for service, Angular router and Nginx Toastr. And this component has the component sections, and this user CRUD component class implement on init interface. So I have added some comment section which will be easy for you understand the code. So for row data and column definition, this is the code. Okay, and grid API and column API, this is the code for API, grid API and column API. And the constructor has these parameters, which are the import statements I have used. And this is the grid options, the enable pagination and set the page size to 10 rows. And ng on init, it calls the get user, which is defined inside the service file. And the on grid initialization, it will grasp the APIs and auto resize the columns to fit the available space. So on grid ready event, on grid ready method is defined here. And the create the column definitions, which will be bind to the edge grid. So username, email ID. So username has the field name, filter, we apply the filter true, enable sorting true, editable true and sortable true. Email ID, gender, address, mobile number and pin code. So you can customize based on your requirement. If you don't want apply the filter for mobile number, you can set as false. If you want, then true. So edit user method is declared here, and this method is called to the update user method, which is defined in the user service. If it's successful, Toastr displays the message. Delete user method declared here, and it will call to the delete user method inside the service, and Toastr message displayed if the successfully deleted. Okay, and the add method, it will be go to the add user component for inserting the data of the user details. So this is the code for user.component.ts file. So I'll drag from top to bottom to capture the code. So 19 is write the logic of service for consuming API, open the user CRUD.service.ts and import the necessary class libraries and then makes call to web API methods. So I'll open that service file user CRUD serve.service.ts. So this is the import statements. One is model I need to import, HTTP client and observable, and the CRUD service class has a API URL. This is the my API URL, localhost port number, and API / user details grid CRUD. So this is nothing but my route prefix which I implemented inside my web API endpoints. Same way for edit user method, get user method, add user method, update user method, delete user methods, which I called inside the this component TS files. That is here user.crud.component.ts file. So here guys, for edit user method, this is the endpoint, update employee details. Same way for get user, this is the endpoint, nothing but the route. And add user has this is the endpoint, insert user details. This is the route of insert user details in my web API. Update user method has the endpoint, it's the update employee details. Same way for delete user, this is the endpoint, delete user details, and the parameter as ID user ID. Okay, if you go to my Visual Studio, okay, and select that. Okay, if you give an example of delete, right? So this is the route delete user details. So that I have used here for delete user details, and this is the ID because in my I passed as the ID as a parameter. So in this way we can set the endpoints in my Angular application of web API, right? So this is the code for user CRUD service.ts. So I'll drag from top to bottom to capture the code. So set the cross origin resource sharing in web API. So go to my Visual Studio, so cross origin app underscore start, click on web API config CS. We need to add these two lines for set the course, and these two lines you need to add for enable the course. If you don't have the course, then you need to add from NuGet package. So guys, step 21 is run web API and Angular, and this is the command for running the Angular app. So before that I need to discuss the app component related files. Okay, so here first thing is app component, right? app.module.ts. So app.module.ts guys, when I created the component and services or AgGrid, Toastr, AgGrid package and Toastr, so by default it will added the as a import statements, and these two components which are created you need to add inside the declaration array, that is user CRUD component and add user component. And this user CRUD service, this service file I need to add here providers array, and this AgGrid module and Toastr module we need to add inside the imports array, that is Toastr module.forroot and AgGrid module. So this is the code for app.module.ts. Okay, second one is app.component.ts. so these are no code required here. app.component.html, it will be router hyphen outlet because I am implementing the routing here. So if you click on app.component.cs, there is no code, and click on hyphen routing.module.ts, so there is the code. We need to import the statements here, and the user CRUD component has the path and add user component has the path because I have created two components. So there is routes. Okay, if you click on users path, then it will be go to the user CRUD component. If you click on add user, then it will click go to the add user component, so which I mentioned here in my user component .ts. Here guys, if you click on add user, then it will go navigate to the add user component, right? And same way for if you click on add hyphen user.component.ts, so it has a cancel button, and cancel button has call to the cancel method, and it has navigate to user details user CRUD component. Same thing I have mentioned here in app-routing.module.ts. That path is users. It is in navigate to user CRUD component and click on add user. It will come to the add user component. So same thing I have implemented inside the TS file. So this is the code for app-routing.module.ts. Okay. So guys, I'll show you some important URLs for EdgeGrid related things. Okay, one is npm.js EdgeGrid. This is the URL for EdgeGrid Angular data, and this one is EdgeGrid community, EdgeGrid compatibility, version compatibility you can check in this URL. And third one is edgegrid.com getting started, how to set up the EdgeGrid. So why cars? This is the I mentioned here why you need the cars. If you consume the web API, Angular blocks the URL. We call this issue the cars cross origin resource sharing. So first check if the cars is installed or not. If not, then install the cars in the API. Go to the web API project, download a NuGet package for cars. Go to the NuGet package manager and search for cars and then install the package. After that, go to the app_start folder in web API project and open the web API config.cs file and modify the register method, which I already discussed in my web API. So these are the some notes for what are the commands, and these are the URLs which are discussed here, right? Let's check for 21 run web API and Angular app. So first I'll run my web API here. So my web API is successfully executed, and I'll check some response. For that I need to go to my URL. So guys, this is the API endpoint I need to run here to check the response is working or not. So see here guys, I'm getting all the user details. That means my web API is responding successfully. And I'll check one more endpoint for user details filter by passing the ID, right? So if I click on, it will be hitting to this endpoint. Click continue. I'm getting the user details whose ID is 1028. So let's run my Angular application. Click on 3 dot, terminal, new terminal. And ng-serve, click enter. So guys, here my Angular application is compiled successfully. I'm getting the in-browser URL. Okay, let's check for next step. So check the output. So here I'll copy this URL and go to my browser. Inside the next tab, open and browse this URL. So guys, this is the output, right? And what you can see, this is the EdgeGrid and the data is bound here. The three buttons: add new user, update user, and delete user, and this is the index page. Okay, so I'll first show the EdgeGrid how it works. So each column has the 3 bar. If you click on, you can search the filter based on the contents. Not content, equals, not equal, starts with, end use, and blank and not blank. If you contents search for Satya, I can see there is one row, one data is there, Satya, right? Same way for mail ID. If you select here Satya, then we have one Satya mail ID. And if you select here gender, whose gender is female, so select here only female gender is showing here. So I need to filter record address for Bangalore. So Bangalore is filter, and will be filter for mobile number, which is 415. So display the 415 here, and the pin code, which is 525. So select the 525 which is pin code here, right? So same way we can sorting the records here. If you write up and down arrow, you can see each column has, see here, mobile number, pin code. I don't have set up the sorting, so that it will be not showing here. So same way for index, there is total 272 rows, so it is each page has a 10 rows, right? So this is the page 28. If you go to the next page, the indexing, go to the last page and the first page, and in between you can go to the next page as well. How this the how this the works in the edge grid. So I need to create one new user here. Click on add new user. So if you click on submit without any data, then it will be showing the validation. If you click on cancel, it will go to the user component. So click on add new user. I'll add some data here. henry@mail.com. mail@New York, mobile number and pin code, and click submit. So it is heading to my this post user method. Click continue, and I'm getting user has been successfully added. This is the Toastr message display, right? And if you filter this name Henry, I'm getting, right, Henry Gates, right? So let's check for update user. I need to update this user. Okay, if you select without any select this row, if you click on update user display, please select a user for the update. So what I'll do is, if you want to update here, that is I want to update henry@mail.com to henry@gmail.com. so I'll mention here gmail.com, put out of it, again select this row and click on update user. It will hit to the method put user master details. Click continue. I'm getting user has been successfully updated, right? And same way I need to update the Henry Gates to henrygates.gates1. Click out of it, again select this row and update user. It is hitting to this endpoint and continue. I'm getting user has been successfully updated. So need to delete this, so I'll select this row. Okay, what I'll do is, I did not select anything. I'll show you one time again. Okay, Henry. Okay, I did not select any row. Click on delete user. It's showing please select a user for deletion. So I select here, click on delete. It is hitting to the endpoint, delete user details. Click continue. So I'm getting user has been successfully deleted. So this method, this record is gone, right? So here I'll be create one more user. Michael Gates, michael@gmail.com, address, mobile number, pin code, submit. So user has been successfully added. So you can see 273 records. If I go to the SQL server, execute, so I'm getting 273 rows, right? So this is the record I have inserted. So let's update this. So Michael, right? So here I update to BBSR address to United States. Click out of it, update user. User has been updated. If I go to here, execute this, so see here it's showing United States. So let's delete this record, select this row, delete, continue, deleted successfully. If you go to execute again, you can see 272 rows that Michael record is deleted here. Okay, let's refresh again. So I'm getting 272 records now. Okay, so this is how works here in EduGrid and perform the CRUD operation. So here guys, we need to check two things. One is Bootstrap and one is network tab of this inspector element. So here guys, if you click on network tab, here I want to check what is the endpoints is reflecting here, right? So if you refresh it, so see here there is get user details is coming, right? This endpoint. If you select that get user details, go to header, you can see this endpoints URL which is hitting from my API, and preview section showing the arrays of data and response I'm getting. So in this way we can check the endpoints, API endpoints which is consumed in our Angular application using inspect element under network tab. So here we'll check for Bootstrap. So if you select here different devices, you can see this the screen is adjusted here, right? So in this way it is working. So yeah, so refresh it. So guys, in this way we can perform CRUD operation in Angular using EduGrid with Web API. So guys, there is one GitHub. So in this URL of GitHub, I have uploaded my Angular and Web API files. You can download and implement in your code. So let's go to my presentation. So what is EduGrid? EduGrid is a fully featured, highly customizable JavaScript data grid. It's providing outstanding performance, has no third-party dependencies, and integrates smoothly with Angular as Angular component. And these are the component URLs which I already discussed. And the standard features of EduGrid: column interactions, pagination, sorting, and row selection. And to download Angular and Web API files, this is the URL, GitHub URL. So guys, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.